This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. Welcome to 20th Century Boy. My name is Mike Jack Horseman, and this is the inside of my mind. Mike Jack Horseman is a variation on, because sorry guys, welcome to the podcast. Every week I do a different variation on the name Radio Mike, and they're becoming more creative. They're user submitted, listener submitted, I should say. That one in particular came in from Radio Gannonbort, long-time listener of the show. Welcome to the radio family, Radio Gannonbort. But he actually said that I should do Rojack Morseman, so it follows the RM theme of Radio Mike. But I just, being the innovative creator that I am, I decided, nah, you know what? We're just doing Mike Jack Horseman. BoJack Horseman, great show, by the way, which I suck at finishing TV shows. I did want to talk about this at some point in some way. I love BoJack Horseman. I love BoJack Horseman. But this is the dilemma I get into when it comes to TV shows that basically, and my name is Radio Mike, by the way. Welcome to my podcast, 20th Century Boy, a podcast about me, Radio Mike, where I talk about my life as a young writer, producer, and comedy kind of person from here in Melbourne, Australia. Quick detour. Because BoJack Horseman was a Netflix original animation that was really good. Great themes on celebrity culture and mental illness and everything in between, right? And it would come out season by season, year after year. And I haven't seen the last season, but I don't know where I'm up to, and I don't want to start again at the last season, which I think I'm up to because I don't remember what happened. But the paradox is I don't want to start from the start because I've already seen the start and I don't have time to watch something I've already watched. This is my dilemma. The dilemma that there is too much stuff to consume now across every medium, whether it's TV shows, movies, podcasts, video games, music, albums, YouTube, whatever it is. There's too much to consume. I don't want to rewatch stuff I've already watched because I'm going to die eventually, and I don't want to waste time on stuff I've already experienced, right? So I know, some of my favorite movies of all time, I will probably never watch again in my life. Fact. The only one I think I will watch until I die is The Emperor's New Groove. All the other movies, all my other favorite movies, I probably will not watch again in my life because I only want to watch new movies because there is no point rewatching old stuff. And that is why every time I'm I've got to finish BoJack Horseman, right? I'm just yeah, but I don't even know where I was up to. And I don't even know, if I start at the last season, I'm going to not remember anything that was happening. Maybe I need to watch, recap videos that, recap everything that happened. Maybe I need to do that. But, yeah. So I guess the whole point of that little thing was that eventually I would like to finish BoJack Horseman. But today my name is Mike Jack Horseman. Great show. I don't even remember the last thing I remember from that show, if you haven't watched it. I don't remember what it could have been that, I seriously just have no idea. Anyway, guys, not really important, is it? What is important is this podcast and what's been happening on it. And this is going to be a big show this week. First of all, because a lot of this stuff is linked, I guess I'll start with just essentially how awkward I am and this awkward thing that happened to me that I just can't, I can't stop thinking about it. And I do eventually want to get to the bottom of it, but I don't know if it's possible. Currently, because my day job, in inverted commas, my day job is that I produce podcasts for people. So I have a bunch of clients and I sometimes just pick up freelance clients that I produce podcasts for. Currently, I am working on a podcast for Mecca, which is a cosmetics company. I believe it's a worldwide company, but it's definitely Australia. I don't know. Mecca. Producing a podcast for them. And so basically I'm at their headquarters and we're recording a podcast. And like before I go in, I go get myself a latte from the local cafe and I bring it in. I'm sipping a latte. Usually I get, latte. If it's in the middle of the day, like midday, which it was, I'll get a 1 sugar in it. Any other time, no sugar. But middle of the day, I'll get a sugar, right? Just as a pick me up, get it all to pick me up. And so basically, I'm in there recording with them, and I've got my coffee, obviously. And then we stop recording because they're having a guest on. The guest comes in. I say hi to the guest, hey, showing them how to use a microphone and everything like that. Now, that guest, she has a coffee with her that she brings in. And she puts her coffee down and sits down and gets ready to record. What happens next is I go to get my coffee. I pick it up. I take a massive gulp in front of everyone. There's like 4 people in the room. They're all kind of talking and a bit distracted. So I take a massive gulp. I put it back, right? I realize immediately from the taste of said coffee that this is not my coffee. And I have taken a gulpful of someone else's coffee, this woman who's just come in. And I know because it's black coffee, right? There's no milk in this coffee. It's very strong. I'm like, this is not my coffee. Then I look behind, like I look around and I'm like, I've taken a sip out of her coffee by mistake, right? Kind of her fault because she put her cup right next to mine, but still I should have checked before I took a sip out of my coffee. Anyway, I kind of look around and I'm like, I have 2 options here. Option 1 is to bank on the fact that nobody saw this happen and just ignore it, put the coffee down quietly and pretend that nothing happened. Option 2 is jokingly, well not jokingly, but just like lightheartedly be like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I've just taken a sip out of your coffee. And I guess I guess option 2 now in retrospect is the best option because 1, you clear it all up, right? If they did see you but didn't want to speak out about it, you're the bigger person, you clear it up. I'm so sorry. I've made this mistake. I'm really sorry. I can buy you another coffee. They'd probably say, nah, don't worry. All good. Ha ha ha. Don't worry about it. It happens, right? No harm done from anyone. Whereas the option I chose was to put it back awkwardly and say nothing, look around at everyone. And my assumption was based on the information I got that nobody saw it happen, right? So I'm like, I think I'm safe here. I don't think anyone saw the coffee incident go down. I think I'm in the clear. However, I then find that when this guest leaves the room, right? When this guest leaves the room, she leaves the room without her coffee. And a pretty full coffee, like a full, like 80% full coffee after my gulp, right? It was a new coffee, very hot, very warm. And I guess my thing is like, I think the reason she didn't take the coffee was because she saw me take a swig of it and she knows now, that guy just took a swig of my coffee. Maybe he doesn't know that he did it, but I don't want to drink it now. Totally fair. COVID times, boy cooties, all of the above, right? But at the same time, I feel like a jerk because I should have done option 2 where I say, I'm so sorry, I've taken a sip out of your coffee by mistake. It's happened to me before. Someone has done that to me before. I didn't care at all. So she probably wouldn't have cared. I just wanted to save myself the awkward experience. And I thought I got away with it. The reason that I thought I got away with it because I didn't think she saw. But I'm calling into question why she didn't take the coffee at the end. The other alternative there is that she simply forgot about the coffee. However, that to me seems highly unlikely because the coffee was so new and fresh, right? She didn't have... She didn't, it wasn't like an old coffee. It almost felt like the coffee was specifically bought for her to have during the podcast recording. And so now, this was Friday. I'm recording this on a Sunday. It hasn't left my mind. It is the only thing I have thought about all week, this coffee. And now if I ever see her again, right? if she comes on the podcast again as a guest, I will always wonder if she knows that I drank her coffee. She must, and I feel terrible about it. And this is this podcast is the inside of my mind, and this is the inside of my mind. This story over and over again. Do you guys think she saw me take a sip of the coffee? Or do you think she just forgot it? I do think she must have seen me. She was too polite to say anything. And now she's like, that jerk gulped my coffee and didn't say anything. Didn't even apologize for it. It must have looked so rude from my end. But anyway, aside from the coffee incident, the other thing that I have been doing recently with my life is I've been, I'm back at my parents' place at the moment. I'm in interim. Something went down at the place I was living, the share house I was living, which I will not talk about on record. And now we don't live there anymore, which is a whole story in itself, and it's not as bad as it sounds. Essentially, I'm now in interim at my parents', but I have been going out to inspections of other houses because I intend on living somewhere else soon. And very cozy here at my parents' place, but I'm obviously keen to go out and get that independence back sometime soon. One thing I want to talk about, and all of this sort of does lead on to the next thing I want to do, but the one thing I do want to talk about is, and if anyone in Melbourne or anywhere really is inspecting, I'd love to hear your horror stories, because I've noticed that, and the main website I use to find places is domain.com.au, which is just like a rental site where you find available rentals. They are so deceptive with the photos they choose to use for the rooms, for the houses that they are leasing out. Like, you see basically what happened was there was one place, it was in Kensington, which is a nice sort of inner city suburb here in Melbourne. And I looked at these photos, I'm like, this is the place I want to live. This is amazing. 2-bedroom place, good price, looked beautiful in the photos, really big, really spacious. There was 1 bedroom upstairs. It was really big. I was like, yes, I'll sleep there. I'll put all my stuff, because I'm moving with friends. Like, I'll be able to fit all of my podcast stuff. I can do my podcast all up there. Amazing stuff. So we go to inspect it, and it is quite possibly, without doubt, the most disgusting place I've ever been in. Like, the photos, the amount of like photoshopping they must have done on those photos to make it look the way it did in the photos compared to how it looked in real life is just phenomenal. And I went in, I was like, oh, it was like my dream. You know the thing in The Simpsons, the Ralph Wiggum thing, like you can actually pinpoint the moment his heart rips in two. It was kind of like that. Like, I was just looking around, I'm like, probably a more apt Simpsons moment is when Homer is making the barbecue and he's holding the instruction manual with a picture of the barbecue on the front. And he's like, wow, that's one fine looking barbecue. And then he puts it down and sees his and it looks nothing like that. And he's like, why doesn't mine look like that? It was pretty much that. Like, I was trying to compare the photos to the actual rooms. They were small. They were dirty. They were really dimly lit. They were just terrible. Like, awful. And then I'm like, oh, maybe this whole thing is salvaged by that upstairs bedroom, which was awesome. The upstairs bedroom, not even a bedroom. Like, it's like they're saying it's a bedroom. It's like a loft area with no door. You can totally see inside the whole thing from the main living area. So, you know, if you want to go to bed early and someone's watching TV, they can just look at you sleeping. If you want to have some sexy time, which, you know, by no means am I doing, right? But, you know, if you wanted to and you were living there, anyone could just look in and see it. And I was like, whoa, this is so bad. The bathroom looked beautiful in the photos. It's a tiny piece of crap in reality. So deceptive. So anyway, this place was in Kensington. Before the inspection, I was a bit early, so I went for a look around. And, you know, you go for a look around because you want to suss out the area. And you want to suss out, oh, can I picture myself living in this area? Which I couldn't, for one, which was good. Like, we're definitely not going to apply to live there. But the main thing I noticed was this really interesting restaurant that I walked past. And it caught my attention. I took a photo of it, which I might try and put in the video version or post somewhere. it caught my attention because there was a really interesting thing on the sign. Now, the name of this restaurant slash bar kind of thing is Chicken Episode 2.5. It's like a place where you get, I guess, chicken and beer. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's one of those Asian style chicken places as opposed to like a Western chicken and chips. It's like one of those Asian style chicken places. Chicken Episode 2.5. Beer on the sign it says beer, soju. Then it's got some what I'm assuming is Japanese characters, but I'm not 100% sure. But then what really caught my attention about Chicken Episode 2.5, and do your own research on this, but quite clearly and quite plainly on the sign for the restaurant is the words second best chicken in Kensington. This shop is claiming that they have the second best chicken in Kensington. The first thing I thought of is like, why would you put on your sign that you are the second best? Just put nothing. Just put nothing on there. Don't even say where you are in the rankings of chicken in your suburb, because Kensington is not a very big suburb. So if you're saying that you're the second best in Kensington, my natural inclination as a consumer of chicken is to go to your store and say, hey, I saw you're the second best in Kensington. Do you know who the best in Kensington is? Because having second best in Kensington on your sign does imply that someone somewhere did do some kind of audit on the best chicken in Kensington, and these guys came number 2. And I'm just so curious about why they are using that as a selling point for their restaurant. In fact, I'm so curious that I found their number, and I just want to call them to talk to them about it and ask them honestly and earnestly, just ask them why they have on their restaurant sign second best chicken in Kensington. I did do a Google. Apparently they also have a store in St. Kilda with the same thing, but I just want to ring them and find out. So I'm going to punch the number in. Let's see how we go. Hopefully they're open. I did check and it said they were open, so we should be all good here. Let's see how we go. Okay. It's ringing. It's ringing. It's ringing. It's ringing.
Hello, Chicken Episode.
Hey, is that Chicken Episode in Kensington?
Yep.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to ask something. You guys are open today, right?
Yeah, we open in the morning, it's just takeaway, and we open dining from 5 p.m.
Yeah, awesome. I just wanted to ask, on your sign outside of the restaurant, It says second best chicken in Kensington.
Yep.
Who is the first?
I don't know. Sorry about that.
You don't know? So you don't know who the best chicken in Kensington is?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why we decide to go for second best, because we are humble.
But why don't you just put that you're the best?
No, so if we do the best, so customer not gonna wondering, right? So if we put the second best, so you will ask, the other person will ask, right?
But why don't you just put nothing then? Because then you wouldn't even know what you are in the rankings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that.
So you guys.
Actually, that's another meaning. So it means second best. We always try to become the best.
So you're always striving to be better than you currently are.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yes,
Well, I just think it's awesome that you guys are saying that you're the second best chicken in Kensington.
Yeah.
So much so that I don't even care about who is the first best. I only care about who's the second best, because I think that's a really, you're just saying it proudly, and I think that's great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Do you think I could have a few friends down to your chicken shop, and you guys will give us a bunch of the second best chicken in Kensington?
So what do you mean?
Oh, could I make a booking maybe in the future to have a bunch of friends there?
Actually, you don't have to make a booking, just walk in because we're not busy recently. So yeah, we only have tables available for everyone.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will try and organize for a bunch of friends to come down and we'll have some of the second best chicken in Kensington.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah,
See you
have a
soon.
good day.
You too. Bye. They, that went so much differently to how I thought. So what he seemed to say, and I didn't catch his name, but what he seemed to say is that the second best chicken in Kensington, they say that because they're humble. They're just like too polite to say they're the best. But they don't actually know. So I guess two things to come out of this. Number one is if you're in Melbourne and you frequent the Kensington area, maybe you live in Kensington or Flemington or Ascot Vale or like any of those sort of surrounding suburbs around Kensington, would you like to nominate a chicken shop that you think makes the best chicken in Kensington that we can put to them? Maybe next week we just have to call another chicken shop in Kensington and say, hey, did you know that these guys, Chicken Episode 2.5, are saying they're the best chicken shop they're the second best chicken in Kensington. Are you the first? Maybe we do that. So someone nominate one. But secondly, do you want to come and, if you're based in Melbourne, do you want to come to Chicken Episode with me and have a bunch of chicken? If you do, send me a message, and we will organize a chicken night at Chicken Episode 2.5. See how we go. But that was just amazing. It also brought into question another thing that I thought of that I really want to do. And look, guys, earlier this year, we did do Nug 100, where I attempted to eat 100 nuggets. Now, this is not another eating challenge. I'm not recycling any content, nor would I want to have another go at Nug 100. Not in the ballpark of what we want to do on this show. But I did think of another thing. The main thing I thought of was when we did Nug 100, we as a show crowdfunded the 100 nuggets. We calculated that it was around 70 cents per nugget, and to your guys' credit, we raised the money, I think it was, about $70, to buy the 100 nuggets, right? So lots of people just donated 70 cents. New thing that I've thought of that I would love to get your help with in the crowdfunding vicinity. And I hope we're not all crowdfunded out, because I reckon this can be the most fun thing we've ever done. Essentially, and we have crowdfunded before. We also crowdfunded the phone number for this podcast, 1-800-438-353. We own that phone number, and that was crowdfunded by the listeners of this show. That was our biggest crowdfund to date, $335. But here's what I wanted to do, because after I saw the Chicken Episode 2.5 sign, and it's funny, like a lot of the content for this episode so far just came to my mind on that one day where I went house inspecting in Kensington. A lot of after that, I went to just like the local IGA to get like a drink or something. And what I noticed was out the front of that local IGA supermarket was one of those Gumball dispensers. I'm pretty sure these are universal. Generally, you put in 20 cents, you turn a little thing, the money goes in, and a gumball spits out. It's like a vending machine for gumballs. A spherical gumball, often just full of sugar and very nice gum comes out. They kind of fly under the radar when you become an adult. When you're a kid, the first thing you're looking at when you go to the store, where are the gumballs? How do I convince mum to give me a gumball? But also a good thing because it helps parents just get rid of that 20 cents change. Obviously, this is Australian money. 20 cents, there's 100 cents in a dollar. I think that's pretty universal. But anyway, you put 20 cents in, you get rid of your change, you give your kid a gumball. Now, I just had this thought, and I'd love for you guys to help me with this. Wouldn't it be just so funny? Wouldn't it be funny if you emptied one of those gumball dispensers? Because I actually thought about it, and it wouldn't actually be that expensive, right? I sort of estimated by looking at this gumball dispenser that there would probably be around 500 gumballs in there max. Like, I reckon that's a generous estimate, 500 gumballs. I reckon on a lower scale, maybe 300, right? But if we go 500 gumballs times 0.2, 20 cents, we only need to raise $100 to empty one of those gumball machines, right? I want to set a new goal for this podcast that at some point coming up, I will go to a local gumball dispenser, probably at a shopping center nearby me. I will go to a local gumball dispenser, and with the money that we raise on this podcast, I will empty one of those gumball machines, right? I am willing to put in money for this, so if we don't raise the full 100, I'd be totally fine. But basically, if you donate $1 to this, you donate 5 gumballs, right? And all we need is 100 people to give $1, or I'm willing to put in, so far without any crowdfunding, I'll already put in $20, right? So 20 times 5, I've already donated 100 gumballs, right? And what we're going to do is, on that day when we do it, and please donate, 20 cents is the minimum you need to donate for one gumball, right? 20 cents, paypal.me/itsradiomike. Just send 20 cents with a note. I'll read it out next week. We did this with the nugs. Please make it happen with the gumballs. I think this could be so fun. On the day that I do it, I'm going to announce to everyone which gumball dispenser I'm going to be at and what time. And it'll probably take a while to dispense them all. And I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to get all the money out as 20-cent pieces. And I'm going to stand there all day with the 20 cents, rotating the thing, getting the gumball, and handing them out to the listeners. If you want a gumball or 2 or 5, there's probably going to be 500. You can meet me at this place, wherever it is. I need to scope out gumball dispensers in Melbourne, and we are going to empty the gumball dispenser. I just think this is never been done before. Emptying one of those gumball dispensers, just standing there all day. I wonder if they're even designed to take that much cash, that many coins. What if it just fills up and builds up to the top, right? And you can't I guess this is what we're going to find out on the day. So that is what I am promising to do on the day. You guys donate 20 cents for one gumball, $1 for 5 gumballs, right? And then I get it all out. I stand there for a day just getting gumballs out of the gumball dispenser at probably my local shopping center, and I will hand them out. And any leftover I will keep, and I will give them out as prizes for the show. But please donate a gumball. PayPal.me/itsradiomike, 20 cents. Or send the change. If you want to send a bunch of 20-cent coins to help make it easier, send it to Radio Mike, 257 Clarendon Street, South Melbourne, 3205. If you're international, I will consider, if you donate at least 5 gumballs, so $1, I will consider shipping the gumballs to you, right? If that's legal. I assume it is. But that is the next goal, the next big goal for the show. We currently have a few, but the next thing I want to do is empty a gumball dispenser. Because I also think it would be funny that, if you saw someone doing this, that, technically they're not doing anything illegal. They're not doing anything wrong. It isn't illegal to pay money for a gumball. No, it doesn't say anywhere on the machine, I assume, that maximum gumballs 5, maximum gumballs 10, right? Nowhere does it disclaim how many gumballs you are allowed to dispense from the gumball dispenser. So it is perfect. I just don't think anyone's ever been stupid enough to just try to empty the gumball machine. So that is my plan. I want to do that. And it's does security come over and say, what are you doing? You say, I'm just buying these gumballs. I just want these gumballs. Or could anyone stop you? Could they kick you out? I don't think they could, because you're literally not doing anything wrong. You're not breaking any law. So that is what I want to do. Please donate a gumball or 5. PayPal.me/itsradiomike. The same way you donated the nuggets. I want to have these gumballs. I want to have 500 gumballs because it's pretty good gum. And I want to just put 10 in my mouth and just blow a massive bubble. That is the plan. Please help me with Radio Mike's Gumball-o-rama. That's what I'm calling it. We haven't done this for a while, but there's a segment that I don't think we ever made an opener for this segment because I didn't think it deserved an opener because it was so generic. but I do want to do another Misheard song lyric. And where this all started was last year I remembered the song Love Story by Taylor Swift, absolute classic. And I remembered that I had a Misheard song lyric where at the end of the song, it's obviously a love song about Romeo and Juliet. And at the end of the song, it all builds up to the last kind of verse, I guess, where Taylor Swift sings from the perspective of Romeo, marry me, Juliet, you never have to be alone. Marry me, Juliet, you never have to be alone. But for whatever reason, when I was a kid hearing that song up until very recently, I always heard it as Mary, as in the name Mary, like Mary, the mother of God. Mary, meet Juliet, as though I always thought the song was trying to be like Romeo was saying to Juliet that he's not interested in her because she's a lesbian. So he's like, hey, Mary, this is my friend Mary, meet Juliet. Maybe you two could go on a date, right? Really stupid. A bunch of you sent in your equally stupid Misheard song lyrics. And I always thought that was funny because it was obviously marry me, Juliet, not Mary, meet Juliet. But the other day I was in the car and I heard a song that I have not heard for a very, very long time. A really nice song as well by a band that I guess I don't care for too much, but the band is Maroon 5. And I realized that I have a Misheard song lyric from this song, one of their biggest singles, She Will Be Loved. Obviously, you know, she will be loved. She will be loved. And it's actually the first line of the song that I always just got confused, like clearly just misheard as a kid. And I wanted to illustrate it on the podcast today. Essentially, the first line from that song is this.
Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself.
So if you are not an idiot like me, you will probably hear that the lyrics to that are quite clearly now, beauty queen of only 18, beauty queen of only 18, and then it's she had some trouble with herself. But it's sort of the way it plays out in the song. I'll point it out. Here we go. Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself. See how the she kind of happens in sort of, it should happen in the same sentence as she had some trouble with herself, but it's kind of like it's ending the sentence of beauty queen of only 18, she. So it's basically like beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself, where it should kind of, it would make more sense to sound like beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself. Here one more time. Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself. Now, when I was young, and I still remember, actually up until very recently, I actually thought, this is not a joke. I am not joking about this. Please don't think this is made up. It's not. I actually believed that what was being sung there, because of the placement of the she, right? I believed that what was being sung in that song was, and this is so embarrassing, I thought it was beauty queen of only 18 sheep, right? And so I thought it was beauty queen of only 18 sheep had some trouble with herself. And I guess I thought that the beauty queen was like a shepherd and she only had 18 sheep in her possession. Like she was a farmer, a beauty queen who was a farmer that only had 18 sheep in her herd, which I guess I thought in the world of farming was a small amount of sheep to have. So like beauty queen of only 18 sheep had some trouble. So for whatever reason in that, whenever I heard that song when I was younger, I was like, this is a song that he is singing to a shepherd, like a woman shepherd who only has 18 sheep. And of course we all know that is not enough sheep. And I just, now, looking back on it, that's such a stupid interpretation of the words. But, like, listen to it. Beauty queen of only 18 sheep had some trouble. Like, it could fit. It could definitely fit in that kind of context. So, I'd love to reopen this. Please send in any Misheard song lyrics. If it's as good as, you know, Mary Meet Juliet or Beauty Queen of Only 18 Sheep, please send them in. I would love to have some on next week's show. But the main thing that we need to get to, and I've realized that this has just gone on for far too long. It is the segment, This Movie, that I think you'll like, which I refuse to play the opener for this week because the segment has been made a mockery of for too long now. And I will give everyone a chance to speak, but here's what's been happening. The segment, I have to recap it every time. The segment, which is based on the Vance Joy song Riptide, in which Vance Joy sings, "There's this movie that I think you like. This guy decides to quit his job and heads to New York City." After a lot of inquisitoriness by me, inquisitoriness, we found out that movie he is describing is a movie called Midnight Cowboy. Then we thought, well, what a fun game it would be to describe other movies in that format, in the Vance Joy format, recommend movies to people in that format. So we started doing it, and every single time, one guy, one listener of the show, Radio Shooter, welcome to the RF Radio Shooter, he claimed that the movie that was being described every single time he claimed that it was a movie called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. Even if it didn't resemble MM's WE at all, right? I started to think that this guy, Shooter, I started to think he was making a mockery of the segment. I accused him publicly of doing so on the show. Radio Kira, a begrudging welcome to the RF again, Radio Kira. She did one. Her one was, "There's this movie that I think you'll like. This guy decides to click his fingers and delete half the population." I'm sure most of us quite clearly thought that it was Avengers Infinity War, where Thanos clicks his fingers and deletes half the population. Again, Shooter mocking the segment, right? He decides to submit Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, to which Radio Kira claims is the correct answer. None of us have seen Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, so how can we know? I still think this is all BS, and I have decided that we will no longer run the segment This Movie That I Think You'll Like until Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium has been watched, so we can prove once and for all that Shooter was making a mockery of the segment. Shooter has sent in another message. Shooter, you are welcome to have your say as always.
G'day, Mike. Happy 25th birthday, mate. It's Radio Shooter here. I just don't understand what all this fuss is about, and you sort of talking about making a mockery of the show. I'm just trying to play along and guess the movie that you think you'd like. It's a really tough game, mate, and I've seen plenty of movies in my time, and I haven't seen Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, so it just makes sense, for me to guess it. I mean, where do you get off, mate? I mean, you invite people to call up on the show and have a guess, and then you start a task force to insult them and suggest they're making a mockery of the show when they get it wrong. So, really disappointing, mate.
Okay, so Shooter's disappointed. He also followed up with a second message.
Oh, Mike, Shooter here again. Forgot to put my submission in for this week's movie that I think you like. Yeah, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is my guess. Cheers. Bye.
Another mockery of the show. Kira also sent in a message. Before we get to that, I also got a voice message from an anonymous person. This is that message. That was someone shouting the word sausage followed by the victory theme from the Final Fantasy series of games, which is just incredible how creative people are becoming with the phone line on this podcast. Kira, this is what she had to say. She's not happy.
Hello, this is Radio Kira here. Just listening to the newest episode of the pod, and I have a few things to say. Well, firstly, before I forget, I want to say I would really like to join the Monopoly game. So I think I should be the final player of the Monopoly game because that would be super fun. And I live in Melbourne. Secondly, I would like to touch on this issue between Radio Shooter and you, Radio Mike. I'm devastated at these allegations against me and Shooter, that I am lying and that I'm making a mockery that I'm assisting in the mockery that Shooter has been attempting for a bit. I would like to say that was never the intention, and also I stand by my decision that Radio Shooter was right, and it was just, it might have just been like a coincidence that he was correct, but I still believe he was.
More BS from the world's biggest BS committee, Shooter and Kira. Radio Scooter, welcome to the radio family, Radio Scooter. Again, not Shooter, Scooter. He wanted to voice his thoughts on this.
Hey, Radio Mike, it's Radio Scooter here. Not Radio Shooter, specifically not Radio Shooter.
They do sound the same.
I wanted to call in and say I really want to back up Radio Shooter. I think he's done a fantastic job. Well done on guessing Mr. McGorium's Wandering Poem. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it. He nailed it, dude. He absolutely freaking nailed that. And I think he might nail you at Monopoly as well. So, come on, Radio Shooter.
Okay, so a lot of the support is behind Radio Shooter. That is fine. So, a few things there. Kira did point out that she wants to be part of the 20th Century Boy Monopoly mix-up. It is where I am playing 3 listeners in Monopoly because I've never lost a game of Monopoly. So that will be happening soon. We now have our 3 competitors, Radio Whitey, Radio Shooter, and Radio Kira. I will figure out the logistics behind this. We will play Monopoly. That sounds very fun. Then, obviously, where am I at here? My mind has suddenly gone blank. That's okay. We can edit podcasts, but I probably won't edit this out. Oh yes, of course. Shooter. During this week, for next episode, I am going to watch Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. And I will know for certain that whether or not someone clicks their fingers and tries to delete half the population in that film. I will be watching it in the next week. Other listeners of this podcast are welcome to watch it. I don't know where you can find it. Probably I'll use Just Watch right now. Just Watch is like a website where you can find out where you can stream it. So Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium Just Watch is on HBO Max, which this is America. Sorry guys, this is just a little bit of a hurdle. Australia, Stan. It is on Stan here in Australia. So there you go. If you've got Stan, you can probably watch Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I will be watching it. And then we will settle it over Monopoly. I'm looking forward to wiping the smile off your face over a Monopoly match. So I will hopefully speak to you guys next week. Until then, this movie that I think you'll like is on an indefinite hiatus. The only way it will come back is if we can get Vance Joy to do a live one on the show, which is one of the show goals. Usually, we have the 20th Century board behind me for the video viewers. That has all the goals listed on it, but that is just in the move. The 20th Century board has gone missing. So if someone has found it, they've just got a list of goals for this show on it, but they may have, guess they might have rubbed it off. I don't know. So that'll be coming up soon. One more thing before we do the plug. Pat, who works on this show, he is one of the producers on the show, does a bit of work, does all the TikToks, TikTok Radio Mike, does all the reels on Instagram, radio.mike, sorry. Pat was critically acclaimed the other week for his Hagrid impression over on the Harry Potter and the Boys podcast. So I actually wanted to set Pat a little challenge that he could do for all the listeners, because in the time I've known Pat, it has come to my attention that he does a lot of impersonations of different pop culture based characters. So I want to get Pat on the line really quickly now and set him this little challenge that I've got. Okay, it's ringing. Let's see if he picks up. He did say I could call him anytime. He doesn't know what this is about. It's ringing. It's ringing.
Hey, man.
Pat, how are you, man?
Good.
You're on the pod. Say hi to the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Are you okay? You seem a bit down.
Yeah, I just heard that you did a really big poo.
Ah, sorry, man. Hey, I've got a challenge for you for the podcast.
Yeah?
Everyone was really, really stoked with your Hagrid impression over on the Harry Potter and the Boys podcast, right?
Really?
Yeah, people thought it was really good. And I wanted to set you a little challenge, if you're up for it.
Okay.
What are some of the other impressions that you do? I know you do Joe Swanson, who is the the wheelchair character in Family Guy. Do you do any others? Do you do any others?
Yeah. What can I do? Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I showed my Harry Potter. Hagrid. That was really shit. Hang on. What do I do?
You don't have to. You don't have to show them off at the moment, right? But what the challenge I'm going to set for you is, I want you to I want you to essentially create like a short radio play where all of the characters that you do impressions of interact. So it's like, Hagrid, Joe Swanson, and whoever else you do are all interacting with each other. And there's you just write a little scenario. It's a bit of fun. And then we'll play it on the show next week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that sounds good. Do I have to come up with a story, or like, are you going to come up with it, or?
Well, I mean, I thought you would.
Oh, well, hey, that's cool. That's all right. Hey, extra work for me, no problem. I'll send you the invoice.
No, well, if you give me a list of characters, I'll give you a storyline that you have to work around.
Okay, and then I'll expand upon that. All right. In terms of characters, so yeah, Hagrid.
Yeah.
Oh.
You send.
Yes.
Do you want to send them to me off air?
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
We will do that. Yeah, we won't spoil the surprise for the listeners.
Yeah, and then next week maybe the listeners. Yeah, we'll see how we go. All right, that's your challenge for the week. Send the characters. I'll send a scenario.
Okay, I'll certainly do that.
All right. Thanks, Pat. See you later. Grab. All right, let's do this.
The plug.
All right, what are we plugging this week? I would love for you to check out Harry Potter and the Boys. If you haven't heard it, it's my Harry Potter fan fiction that I wrote when I was in Year 7. I get guests to come on and read it. This week's guest is Jackie Hatton, a stand-up comedian. It was really funny. And there's a new YouTube channel for that if you would like to watch the YouTube versions. I know a lot of people were watching the videos on my channel, but I decided to migrate it to its own channel, which will be up to date by this Wednesday. So if you can't find that channel, it's kind of hard at the moment because if you don't have 100 subscribers, you can't make a custom URL like youtube.com/Harry Potter and the Boys. So please send me a message or an email or anything if you want to watch that show on YouTube. I'll send you a link to where the new episodes are going up. You can also go to my standard YouTube channel, Radio Mike. That one you can just search. It'll come up. Lots of pop culture videos. And you can watch full episodes of this podcast on YouTube as well. Please donate to the Gumball-o-rama. It's 20 cents for a gumball. Literally very easy. Just send $1 for 5 gumballs. We literally need $100. And aside from that, TikTok, Radio Mike. Follow me there. Watch some TikToks that Pat edits. Radio.mike on Insta. RadioMikePod@gmail.com if you want to get in touch. And I think that's pretty much it for this week. But yeah, for now, I will sign off the way I normally sign off, which is by saying, my name has been Radio Mike. This podcast has been The Inside of My Mind. Don't ever block the MDF. We still need to do the MDF sting. That's coming up as well. I'm a very kind young man, and some of your older staff could learn a lot from me. Don't lie to me because I'll see you. And if I do see you, it might be in the Dream Factory later tonight. And also, Will Kennedy, finish up your farm project, mate. All right, guys, see you next week. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.